What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at this brand new 2023 Toyota Highlander finished off in wind chill pearl. I'll reveal the MSRP at the end of the video and we're going to see, is this Highlander worth the price? Big shout out and thank you to Flo Toyota of Statesville for providing this new Highlander for today's video. Take a look at their website, link down below. The Highlander we're looking at today is an XLE with the XP package, and then underneath the hood you're going to find the all-new 2.4 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It pumps out 265 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque, pairing to an 8-speed automatic transmission and a sense of power to the front wheels. Curb weight is around 4,200 pounds and it can even tow 5,000 pounds, and then running on a 17.9 gallon fuel tank, you're looking at 22 miles per gallon in the city with 29 out on the highway. Overall length is 194.9 inches with wheelbase at 112.2. Width is 76 inches with height at 68.1 inches. Taking a look at the exterior styling now with the 2023 Highlander, the XP package gives it a really nice blacked out design, and it's already a pretty bold looking family SUV. We have a nice set of LED headlights with a blacked out housing. They span all the way into the fender and has a really cool look. You can also see this brushed aluminum accent all throughout the grille with your Toyota badge, as well as a pretty nice gloss black design for the mesh. Down below you can see your fog light and some pretty nice body contours, then a massive plastic front splitter with a little bit of an opening to allow more cooling to the engine. Front end really does come together nicely. I like everything about how it's designed, and you can see a really sharp body line in the center of the hood, and it fades all the way towards the windshield. Really comes together well. As you make our way to the side profile, you get a really nice set of 20-inch gloss black wheels. They say X Series on them, multi-spoke design, and you can see more of that plastic running all around this front fender. We get a nice set of running boards with some aluminum as well as black plastic, and a really sharp body line cutting all the way towards the rear. You can see a blacked out XP badge and a sharp line going above the wheel. You can see the line running through the side profile to the body color door handles. Then we get gloss black mirror caps, integrated side turn signal, and then some chrome trim on the lower portion of these windows. More black design all around, same with the A-pillar. Then we get a sunroof up top with your roof rails. And then moving to the side profile, I think the Highlander has a pretty good side design, really proportional, especially in white. You can see all those really cool body lines. It's a really sharp looking SUV. In back we get that shark fin antenna, some contours on the spoiler, and you can tell it's kind of got some width to it with the bulge around the rear wheel. We have a massive LED taillight that's pretty three-dimensional. Then all blacked out badges. You can see the Toyota logo, you get the X Series as well as Highlander, and then XLE on the far right. Your backup camera is right in the center, and you get some pretty good contours throughout the liftgate. And then down below we have a plastic rear bumper finished in that black color with all of your reflectors. Overall I think the Highlander comes together nicely, and that XP package with the blacked out look gives it a sporty touch. So there's a good look at the exterior with the 2023 Toyota Highlander. The white and the black contrast definitely make it look pretty sporty. I think they really did a good job designing this new Highlander. We have Toyota's key fob, gets the name Highlander written on one side, and of course your basic buttons. You can just keep it in your pocket though and just grab the door handle. It'll automatically unlock, and we can check out this interior. This particular spec gets a gray Softex leather interior. Has a really nice contrast with all the black accents. You can take a look at the door panel now, finished off in mostly gray, some good padding for your armrest, grab handle with some brushed aluminum, then all of your window controls, lock and unlock, as well as the mirror controls. We have your release handle up above, then a little bit of storage space down below, and then you get power controls on the left side of the seat. You can see all the smooth gray synthetic leather material, get a nice striped design on the backrest as well, going all the way up towards these headrests, and then spinning around we get a black leather steering wheel. And then now inside, keeping my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. All the electronics will come to life. Get a cool animation right in the center. You can see the analog tack on the left with your analog speedometer on the right. Then we get a digital screen right in the center with quite a bit of information. You can control that using the controls on the left side of the steering wheel. Taking a look at the screen now, we have a digital readout for your speed. You can scroll left and right, see a fuel economy indication as well as an eco indicator. Then you can scroll up and down and see all sorts of more information for driving information, audio, and safety. You can see your tire pressure, all sorts of different settings, all the capabilities that this car has with the safety features. If you take a look at the steering wheel now on the right side, we get all those cruise control settings as well as some mode icons for radio and then some Bluetooth and audio on the left side. We have the turn signal stalk and headlights, and then all the windshield wipers over on the right. To the left of the steering wheel now, we have automatic high beams, power liftgate, and then your engine start stop, and we even get a little storage cubby down below. You get more of the synthetic leather material, some nice aluminum color along the air vent, then some black material all around the dash. You can see on the far side we have a really large storage area, which is a pretty cool touch, then some more of that gray color, and then right in the center we get a nice cubby with wireless phone charging and quite a lot of storage space. Taking a look at the infotainment screen right now, you can see how everything is laid out. It's not quite set up just yet, but you can see you'll have the navigation system, all of your audio will come up, Bluetooth integration, climate controls can even come up for front and rear. You even have trip information that will come up. You can see your history, things like that. Then you even have vehicle alert with any messages. We have all sorts of different settings within the car, Wi-Fi, and many more. And then if we go ahead and go into reverse, the backup camera will pop up and you get a pretty good view in that screen. Going back into park, underneath this we get all your climate controls, heated seats, dual zone temperature by just toggling this dial. You can see all the different controls in the center. Then you get some nice toggles for fan speed as well as the different zones. A few more controls on the right side, air vents and hazards. And then down below that you can see different plugs, a 12 volt, and a ton of storage space. On the right side we get 2 cup holders, a leather shift boot around the shifter, and then you get some drive modes. You have a cool toggle switch that you can go up and down, and it'll come up on the screen telling you which drive mode you're going to be in. On the far right you can see the electronic park and brake as well as brake hold. You have a snow mode as well as traction control. Then you get some nice design of this more synthetic material. Then you can grab this, slide it all the way back, and you have a pretty good amount of storage space in the center console. And there's just a little bit of padding here as well. We open up the glove box, you have a pretty good amount of storage space. And then one last look at the interior. I think Toyota did a good job designing this first row. There's definitely a lot of storage in here, really comfortable, super easy to use everything. Up on top, we get a gray headliner with your sunroof, then all those controls up above that with a sunglass holder, and then garage door openers on the mirror. Moving to the rear seat space, if I grab the door handle and open it up, you get a similar door panel that we saw up in front, and you even get the addition to these sunshades. Great touch to have, storage down below, and more of this smooth synthetic leather material all throughout these seats. You get captain chairs as well with adjustable armrests, and you even have 2 cup holders and some storage in the center. And then climate controls up in front of that with some USB ports and storage. And then up on the ceiling, you're going to see all of your air vents and dome lights. From here, you have different levers to slide this forwards and back, as well as make these go flat and recline. Then you can pull the handle in back. It'll get it to a 45-degree angle where you can slide it out of the way and gain access into the third row. So then sitting now in the second row of the Highlander, not a bad place to be. I really like the captain chairs a lot, but I have plenty of headroom at 5'11" and plenty of legroom and knee room as well. Armrest is in a pretty good place, a lot of glass, and I like, of course, how I can recline the seat and really get this nice and comfortable. Not a bad place to be. And sitting back here, it is pretty darn cramped. My legs can't even get back here right now, but if I just pull the seat out of the way, just to at least sit back here, the seats are kind of on the floor. Currently my legs are not even touching them, so it's an insanely low seat here. They do recline, so if you pull this lever, I can get this back a little bit, and that really makes it a lot more comfortable. However, my head is kind of touching the ceiling here, and depending on how I put this seat, it's really going to compromise how this person is. So when I have this to where I actually have some leg room, they're kind of sitting right into that seat in front. So it's a pretty cramped third row seat. In a pinch, if you need to maybe stick one person back here as a full-grown adult, it won't be the worst. However, it's really made for a tiny kid once or twice. Kind of a cramped back seat for sure, but at least it's here in a pinch. Moving on to the cargo area, I can hold the button on the key fob, Power liftgate is gonna automatically pop and open nicely. In back, you can see how the two seats are, one all the way straight up and the other reclined. You do definitely get a really angled recline. Pretty good amount of space all back in here, even with the third row in the up position. And then from here, you can just grab these handles, pull them forward, and slide these seats nicely, and they'll get out of the way. You can see the kind of space you get behind the second row when it's in the up position, as well as in the down position. So a lot of storage space in the back of this Highlander for sure. Then you can just press the button once. It's gonna automatically close the entire liftgate. All right, so we are setting off now in the Highlander, testing out this new turbo engine. I will say it packs a good punch. That was just kind of half throttle, just in the normal drive mode. It gets up to speed. I think the 8-speed does a really good job delivering the power. Even with front wheel drive, you know, you don't feel like torque steer or anything. Obviously, I'm not full throttle redlining it or anything like that. But I think the power plant is pretty good, decently economical, and really not gonna have any complaints when you're just driving it around. I'd be curious to see how well it can actually tow 5,000 pounds with a 4-cylinder, so that might be a little interesting. But as far as some normal things, ride quality as we're on a really bad road, it's pretty smooth. It absorbs the bumps nicely. You can feel them, of course, this is a really, really bad road. However, you know, you can tell it's a pretty solid SUV, no real corners cut or anything. It's pretty well built. Visibility is really good. You have a really large windshield. I like how the dash was kind of short. It's not like just some crazy long dashboard like a lot of crossovers are gonna have. So I think that's a pretty good aspect to it. Visibility of your left and right shoulder as well is also pretty good. So really no complaints for just some normal driving aspects to it. And the power is definitely impressive. It just gets up to speed nicely. Very well balanced. Now that we're on a smoother road, you can tell just how smooth and comfortable the Highlander is. You don't really hear any wind noise or road noise or stuff like that, at least if you're on a decent road. And then with the technology and stuff, it's a nicely done vehicle with pretty good technology, safety features, all that stuff, and just really easy and normal to drive. It doesn't feel anything out of the ordinary. I mean, it's a Toyota, you know that they are just pretty normal vehicles, and it definitely has that, just a really good ride quality, things like that. The seats are pretty comfortable. Of course, I like having the heated seat on, good stuff like that. All sorts of different movements. Only complaint is the armrest is kind of in a bad spot. My elbow sits on the corner right there and just falls off every time I touch it. So I don't really have a good armrest on the left side unless I reach my arm over. So I wish they could have done something a little bit better right there. The right side armrest is pretty good. However, not really too padded, but you know, for what you're gonna be using it for, I don't really see too many issues with that. All right, so flipping around to my honest thoughts perspective of driving in the Highlander, I don't think you can really complain. The driving characteristics are what you'd expect. It's comfortable, it's roomy feeling up in this first row. Power plant surprised me. I didn't know how a 4-cylinder is going to be in something of this size. So it seems like it's well balanced to where it can put the power down, you can get up to some speed. You don't have to worry about just trying to like redline it every time you get up on the highway. So I think it's really nice they put a turbo in this. There are some crossovers out there that don't have turbos but are 4-cylinder, and that's not a good combination. This one pulling into some quick moving traffic right up to 50, not even going above 4,000 RPM. So really nice power plant in this. The 8-speed also is going to deliver the power pretty well and just utilize what power you have. You have a lot of it, you have a lot of torque. So normal driving, definitely pretty good. Comfort up here, it's not a bad place to be, just my arm keeps falling off the armrest. You gotta have like, I don't know, really wide arms or something. So I don't know, it could almost be like, I don't know, they could have this stick out a little bit closer. That would be a nice touch for at least for me in this. But normal driving, definitely can't complain. Biggest downfall is I feel like the second and third row, there's some compromises to be made to actually fit 6-7 people in this vehicle. It's a third row vehicle, you're probably going to be using the third row, and the only reason you're buying this is probably because you want a third row vehicle without getting a Sequoia. Sequoias are pretty big and you're going to get all the space in the world. However, with this, you know, if you're going to be using that third row, the second row passengers are really going to be cramped to fit those third people in there. So I don't know, I feel like they could have done it a little bit better, giving you better space, and I feel like the competitors out there give you much better space. Not everybody wants to get the suburban size, you know, the Sequoia Expedition size SUV. this is a really good sized SUV to where it's not ginormous. You can actually pinpoint this. It's easy to park in your own garage. It's not a vehicle that's going to be hard to drive or hard to maneuver. Really smooth over those bumps, I will say though. But I feel like a third row vehicle like this, people like just because it's not that big, and yet you have that third row. However, there's just some compromises for this third row when you compare it to a Grand Cherokee L, a Pathfinder, an Explorer. So I wish they could have done something a little bit better just to utilize the space better. That's my biggest complaint with the Highlander. It's a little cramped back there. Normal driving though, I really don't have any complaints. The driving is nice as you would expect. Really can't complain with that. As we wrap up the drive on some sweeper turns going around 50 miles an hour, nice and stable, really planted. The drive modes don't really do much. You know, if I go into sport mode, put us into the manual shift, it kind of at least does let you shift it. It's not just like limiting how high of a gear you can go. So it's nice. You know, you can shift the gears and stuff like that. So not bad. The sport mode basically just gives you a little bit better throttle response. But not a bad car at all. I think just driving it, it's definitely a well put together crossover, and it drives very smooth. That's the biggest thing I've noticed. It's just a very smooth SUV, and you have some power to get up to speed as well. So with all that said, this Toyota Highlander as tested costs $47,000. So do I think it is worth the 47 grand? I think it is, in the sense of if you look at the other competition out there, an Explorer, Pathfinder, Grand Cherokee L, similarly equipped vehicles, they're all about the same price. So that is the going rate. However, for the same money, you can get all-wheel drive in other versions, and at the same time, other ones will have a V6 in it, which I would prefer, even though I don't have any complaints with the 4-cylinder engine. I just would prefer a V6, especially for towing. I feel like that's going to be where the 4-cylinder is probably going to struggle a little bit. My only other complaint is that back seat space. It is really cramped. The second row passengers are going to have to compromise to fit the third row. The third row people are going to have to compromise for the second row. So they could have utilized the space a little bit better, and you do get a much better space in a Pathfinder Explorer as well as the Grand Cherokee L. So I think if you're looking, you know, sub $50,000 crossover SUV, third row vehicle, definitely put this on the list. But take into consideration the space in the third and second row. I think the competition gives you better space. However, this is probably the most reliable, so there are going to be trade-offs. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video testing out the 2023 Toyota Highlander. Big shout out and thank you once again to Flo Toyota Statesville for providing this vehicle for today's video. Check out their website, link down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.